The speech from Schumer comes as some Jewish Democrats are actually condemning a Republican measure that would expel Palestinians from the United States. We have one of those Jewish Democrats in the Congress, Congressman Greg Landsman of Ohio, who joins us live now from Capitol Hill. I want to get to that second part of it in a moment, but your reaction, first of all, Congressman, to Leader Schumer and his floor speech today.
Yeah, I thought it was a great speech, a really important speech. As Schumer said, this is a crisis, and taking to the floor of the Senate, articulating the crisis the way in which he did was very powerful, and hopefully people appreciate how bad this has gotten and what history suggests in terms of how bad it could get.
There's a lot of this that comes out, and it kind of leads to what this bill we're going to talk with you about in a moment speaks to. A lot of this has come out of many of these pro-Palestinian protests. We've had them here in New York City. We've seen them in a number of other cities as well. I want to go to a clip from Senator Schumer's speech addressing that. It's the second clip we have, guys, from Senator Schumer on the floor earlier today talking about some of those marches. Here's Schumer.
Obviously, many of those marching here in the U.S. do not have any evil intent. But when Jewish people hear chants like "from the river to the sea," a founding slogan of Hamas, a terrorist group that is not shy about their goal to eradicate the Jewish people in Israel and around the globe, we are alarmed.
Your reaction, Congressman, and the context you would put that in with the peaceful demonstrations that we see in some cases, and obviously, as Senator Schumer points out, not in all cases by any stretch.
Yeah, so he's right. When we hear from the river to the sea, and you appreciate the fact that anti-Semitism has always been more than just hating Jews. It's also been the ascribing of the worst parts of society to Jews, and you're hearing that in a way that is very alarming, that we're colonizers and occupiers and that we support ethnic cleansing and genocide. That can lead to a very dangerous reality for Jews all over the world, certainly here and in Israel. It's also, I think, really important for people to appreciate that the vast majority of Jews in the United States and in Israel support a free Palestine. We support a two-state solution, and the need for Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank to have a legitimate governing authority that can rid those territories of corruption and terror so that they can have self-determination and we can be in a lasting peace together.
That brings us to the point that you're a Jewish Democrat of the Congress who's experienced anti-Semitism. I know your office was vandalized, are among the Democrats now against this Republican bill that would essentially expel Palestinians. The SAFE Act from Republican Congressman Ryan Zinke. I want to put up some of what that calls for on the screen right now. I'm not going to go through all of this, but just some of the measures here would prevent entrance to the United States, bar DHS from granting some Palestinians visas, revoke visas issued after the 1st of October, bar DHS from issuing temporary protective status, granting asylum or refugee status. You are opposed to this. Explain to us why.
Yeah, I mean, I think most Americans are opposed to this and would be shocked that a member of Congress would even suggest expelling an entire community of people. I think it's really important for us to stand up and say this is not okay, that it's dangerous, it's un-American, and it's two members of Congress, both of whom are Jewish, who are saying it's also not who we are as Jews. And my hope is that people will appreciate that, one, this is going to lead to increase less safe environments for Muslim Americans, but it should also help address anti-Semitism because it's demonstrating our values of rejecting something like this.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.